What's up, my Mind Your Money business folks? It's me yet again with another video on today's stock market news. And as always, hopefully you are in the market and not trying to time the market because that is simply impossible to do. And as always, hopefully you're not straddling the fence and you're investing into appreciating assets to include yourselves. By improving your knowledge, by doing research, by figuring out what's working and what's not working, gaining some wisdom, learning about yourself, eating better, doing better, you know, just stuff. So let's get into the news today. So it says here the Dow, S&P 500, NASDAQ closed mixed to cap a volatile week as Fed cut in doubt. Now, I have this feeling like something is coming, something is looming. This volatility, what's happening in the government shutdown, these reports that aren't being released, the issues with tariffs, the problems with China, all these problems. I think for me, I'm taking notice. I also watched a video that I may post in my private Facebook group where there's Elon Musk talking about the things to come next year and what people need to brace themselves for, because there may be some type of turbulence or recession next year that could affect the whole entire U.S. market. So, and then with Michael Burry placing this $1 billion bet against technology stocks, AI, Palantir, because he feels like it's in a bubble. And because I'm paying attention to this information, I'm not just in the world, not investing into my future. I'm starting to take heed to this information and believing that maybe there is a shakeup or something that's on the horizon that could negatively affect the market. And so I'm paying attention to it. I plan to make decisions and do things, changing up my portfolio, and do as Warren Buffett is doing. Warren Buffett has hundreds of billions of dollars now set aside. And it's the largest cash amount that Berkshire Hathaway, I believe is the name of his fund, has ever held before. And when he did this in the past, it's when the market crashed. And he used that cash reserve that he had sitting on the side to buy up more stocks. Because when the market, say if there is a recession or if there is a correction and this bubble that people are talking about, if it bursts, that means the prices of stocks are going to go down. Because I think in the last couple of days, I read that the technology sector lost $1.5 trillion in these last couple of days because they've taken some big hits. And that's just in the last couple of days. And I believe this is a signal on what's to come possibly next year. Because I remember the forecast late last year was not very high for the stock market. They were expecting things to be slow, but it has been the total opposite. So because of that, and the Fed's doubt and apprehension when it comes to cutting the rates, that's a problem. That is a problem. Like cars, I read an article and I posted it on my YouTube, not my YouTube, but my Facebook page, where it talked about there's about 3 million cars that will be repossessed by the end of this year. People out there have $700 and $1,000 car notes currently. There's too much debt. That's why I always preach get out of debt, because when you are in debt, you're bound to that debt and that debtor. That means all of your free cash is going towards debt and bills, because most people live way above their means. You need to start living below your means. That's how the rich get rich. What I notice is we as people look at the end results. We look at rich people. We don't look at their journey. We don't think about how some of these people are sitting on generational wealth. So it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a slow and steady race when it comes to creating financial freedom for you and your family. So let's get into this news. I haven't had coffee in like months. So I'm fasting today. Today is Saturday. Where I'm at, I don't eat any food. I only drink water with lemon, but I'm having a cup of coffee because I laid down a lot longer than usual. Just resting and reading, researching, because that's what I do. And then, just that. So either way, the news here says the U.S. stocks recovered from earlier losses on Friday, battling back from Wall Street's steepest sell-off in over a month as investors await more economic data in the coming days ahead of the Federal Reserve's next rate decision in December. The Dow slipped 0.6%. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ came back, however, from being deeply in the red, with the S&P falling below the flat line, and the NASDAQ gained 0.1%. It's like, what's really going on? What's happening? Like, are these AI companies overvalued? NVIDIA reached over $5 trillion market cap. There's so much money being pumped into technology right now. There's so much money these companies are pumping into technology, into AI. But then, on the flip side, there are so many people in debt. The country, the United States of America, is in debt, a lot of debt. So how is this going to work? So I think what happens, and like what I heard Elon Musk say, and even Warren Buffett, and from the research that I'm doing, recessions are just a reset. Some companies are overvalued. That's why I'm going to start doing a lot of research in these companies and look at their balance sheets. How much money are they really making? How much money do they actually have on hand? Because when these recessions and these resets hit, the companies that might have appeared strong could get wiped out. It's happened in the past, and it will continue to happen. And I believe that is what's coming, because they keep hinting around. So it's like I'm paying attention to it. You do what you want to do. But I'm paying attention to these hints. And the fact that it's not even that it's noticeable. It's just that I'm paying attention. Right? Because in the past, when I wasn't an investor, I didn't pay attention to the news. I wasn't looking at the stock market. I could care less because it wasn't something that I was into. But now that I see how money works, and I'm reading these articles, I'm doing research, I'm investing into these companies, I'm paying more attention now. So I'm catching these subtle hints and these articles that are popping up. And again, that very interesting video that I found on social media that Elon Musk has out there talking about next year and what is possible, and how you as investors, retail investors, big time investors, how you need to handle this. Because when these recessions occur, it's a great time to build wealth, because some of these companies like Tesla, who's the leader in the EV market, companies like NVIDIA, who's the leader in AI, TSMC, the production of these semiconductor chips, Apple, Meta, the Magnificent Seven, Amazon, the prices are going to drop significantly. And so they're cheaper, meaning more shares that you can buy if they're actually good companies. And then there are going to be other companies that are probably going to come out of the woodwork and out of nowhere to just flourish. Again, that's why you must do your research, and that's what I plan on doing and locking in. Thanks to the government who decided to reopen, and I now get my paychecks and my back pay because I was going to work every day. But yeah, but here it says again in the article, Wall Street's previous bruising session saw the major indexes log their sharpest one-day declines in over a month. Tech stocks saw their earlier losses shrink mid-morning Friday after AI concerns drove an exodus from riskier assets to less hotly valued sectors. Still, Tesla shares remained under pressure and broke below 400 before going green. Nvidia shares also rebounded to turn positive. Tesla, Nvidia. Again, I'm just paying attention. Bitcoin also continued to suffer, falling below 96,000 for the first time in over 6 months. The cryptocurrency is down over 20% from its peak in October. I'm hearing, well, not hearing, but just things that I watch and things that I read. Like Bitcoin may take a possible blow next year as well. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I have learned from past experiences, when I start to notice certain things and it keeps popping up, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. So, yeah. So I'm going to prepare myself for what may happen. If nothing happens, great. But if something does happen, I'm going to be prepared either way. So I'm going to, more than likely, at the end of this year, review my portfolio and start taking some of my profits and just holding on to cash. I won't deplete my entire portfolio, but I do plan to take profits. A lot of profits that I've made from my investments, and just leave my principal in there and take profit. Or not, just take my initial investment out if I want to and leave just the profit. However I choose to do it, I'll figure it out. But I suggest you do the same. Or you can just keep investing, keep dollar cost averaging in. But I'm expecting maybe to wait things out next year. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking as I speak. But I'm thinking like after February or March, maybe pumping my brakes and see what happens. Okay, back to the news because I'm talking a lot. The mood is unsettled as worries grow that the Federal Reserve will slow its pace of policy easing given the increasingly hawkish tone taken by its officials. Traders now see less than 50% odds of a quarter-point rate cut next month, down from about 95% a month ago. So that's not a good thing either, because as long as interest rates stay high, businesses don't want to borrow money because that's how businesses finance itself, by taking loans out at lower interest rates and of course making big profits and repaying that money. But you don't want to borrow money at a high interest rate and then it's not for certain on your profit margin. Either way, it affects your profit, and no one wants to do that. And just like housing, look at who wants to finance that $500,000 house at 7%. I don't, even though people are. Go ahead, but just think about this. Just 4 years ago, you could have financed your home at 2.5%. I remember a relative of mine refinanced his home at 2.5%. Like, I wish that was available now, but it's not. So this is going to affect the market. And remember, the Federal Reserve is not controlled by the government. That's why President Trump doesn't like Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, because he cannot control him. But Jerome's seat is going to be vacant soon. So we'll see. And also start paying attention to companies now the government, the U.S. government, is now partnering up with and have investments in. That may also be something you may want to invest in the future, or when there's a reset in the government. Because what I plan to do is because it's easy. Because when these companies, like these people with a lot of money, like a Michael Burry or Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, ARK Investment, all these hedge fund managers, they have to issue out what they call, I think, a 13J filing. Don't quote me on that. Where it shows what they're buying. A Blackstone, it shows you what they're buying. A BlackRock, Blackstone, BlackRock, same thing. Well, not the same thing, but they hold a lot of money. I plan to buy what they're buying. If there's a reset next year, I'm going to be tracking. I can't buy everything that they're buying, but I will be looking at where they're heavily invested and what stocks they're mostly buying, and I would use the money that I have to buy the same because I follow the money. Anyway, back to the news so I can hurry up. The mood is unsettled as worries grow that the Federal Reserve was slow its pace in policy easing. Yeah, I already read that. So Minnesota Fed President Neil Kashkari became the latest to lose appetite for rate cuts as he flagged resilience in the U.S. economy and continued concerns over inflation. Policymakers lack insight into price pressures, as well as the job market after the record 6-week federal shutdown. So on Friday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said the September jobs report will be released next Thursday, November 20th. I wonder what the October jobs report would look like. Anyway, in a nod to price pressure, President Trump is preparing to make substantial cuts to tariff to bring down high food costs, a concern for voters in recent state and local elections. Several trade deals with Argentina, Brazil, and other American countries also aim to make the likes of banana and coffee more affordable. Look, food price, everything's going to continue to go up, people. And even, and I'm now reading, as of a couple hours ago, the president signed an order to reduce tariffs on beef, coffee, banana to help slice U.S. grocery bills. Again, I'm noticing how expensive things are too. That's why I budget. That's why I live below my means so that I don't have to worry about too much. Like I'm not stressing myself out at the grocery store. Like when the government was shut down, and I hadn't received a paycheck since October 10th. And the paycheck that I did receive on October 10th was less than half of my normal pay. I did not stress because I had money set aside. You know, again, that's why you call it an emergency fund. That's why you call it savings. So when emergencies like that happen, when your car breaks down, when your AC goes out in your car or your home, or when you have a water leak, a roof leak, you can take care of those things with cash by putting it on your credit card because you are prepared because things like this happen. Anything that, because I can't control it. I can't control the government shutdown. I couldn't control it. And so it shut down. And because it shut down, I was no longer getting paid. But I was like, okay, it's happened before. It's happening again. I have my money. I took care of my bills. I did what I wanted. I did what I needed to do. And boom, now we're reopened. I'm going to get back pay. And yeah, life is back to what we consider normal. But what I don't like is how you have individuals that can control my money. So that's why investing and having your own is key. But I do understand that that way of thinking and that ideology is not everyone's cup of tea. But I will say that it's mine and it's possibly also yours. So therefore, my plan is to create something that I can control to where I don't want my money being controlled by people because they can't get along or they can't sign a bill. So therefore, you shut my money off while you continue to get paid. And that's fine. So that's why I need to possibly have my own business to where I can create value to people that they're going to pay for. And that's how I make my money. And the only way I don't make money through those services is only if I don't add any value or provide value to people through my services. So then it's my fault. But with the government shutdown, I had no control over that. Anywho, get out of debt, people. So let's go over these stocks because I'm talking a lot. But I'm talking a lot because I've been observing a lot, I've been reading a lot, I've been researching a lot, and I'm paying attention. So it's making me think, and it's making me see things differently, and it's also giving signs of what's to come. And like before, when I was younger, only because I was younger, I didn't pay attention. But now in my older years, I need to pay attention. I must pay attention. I am paying attention. So I see what's happening, and I see how it's going to affect people, and people don't see it coming. A lot of people do not see what's coming. So therefore, they're going to complain when something bad does happen and not take any responsibility and blame it on someone or something else other than themselves because they did not take action. They did not plan accordingly. They put too much faith into something or someone else and less into themselves. That's why I call my channel Mind Your Money Business. Pretty much, mind your damn business, people. Take care of yourselves. Stop worrying about what someone else is doing or saying or what they have, and take care of you and yours. But not everybody's going to do that. I clearly understand that concept now. And so I'm only speaking to those who are looking to take care of themselves, who are no longer focusing on other people, who are not placing others on a pedestal, but who's putting themselves on that pedestal, because that's where you belong. And it's okay. If people want to look up at you, then they can look up at you. I mean, I'm not letting anyone idolize me. To me, what I'm sharing is information that I would like people to take in and apply it to their lives and create a vision and success for themselves. Don't look at me and say, oh, great, that's you. No, just understand that what I'm doing, you can do too. And that sounds so cliche. And I remember when I used to hear people say that, and when I would read that about people in books, I would say, wow, that's good for you. You're smart. Or you have so much going for yourself. That's why you're successful. And I could not see myself in those individuals, but I now see myself in those individuals because I kept, even though I would put other people on pedestals, I kept trying to better myself. I kept reading, I kept researching, I kept listening. And slowly but surely over time, I was getting better and better and better. And now I can see it in myself. I can see me in them. I can now relate. So therefore, that's why I am now telling a story. And hopefully my story and my words would catch the attention of people that would take it on, and hopefully it would resonate with them and have them start applying to themselves the exact same logic, ideas, and vision for their lives. It's not going to be easy. That's why a majority of the people are not doing it. It's self-work. It's a lot of work that you have to do to yourself. Minding your own business is very hard to do. Very hard. Because it's easy to be distracted. You can call it the devil. It's so easy to blame it on something or someone else. And it's hard for people to take responsibility over their lives. It's easy to blame mommy, daddy, someone locally, someone in your state, someone globally for your problems. And yeah, control what you can control. And the only thing that you can control is you. And there's only one thing in life that we actually have for free, and everyone is fighting for control over, and that's your mind. If you don't have control over your mind, that's why it's easy to be a victim and blame other people for your problems and your situations. It's easy to blame TikTok. It's easy to blame those influencers who appear to be living this lavish lifestyle that you keep comparing yourselves to and thinking that your life sucks. When you really know nothing about those people, nada. You don't know them. So stop comparing yourself to people that you don't know, even your neighbors. That's crazy. But that's what television, which is telling you a vision, telling you a lie, that's what it does to you. Like social media, news, TV, movies. I mean, our human mind and our psyche is very, very, very powerful. And it's easy for us to start comparing ourselves to other people, places, and things. And when you do that, it's like you take your true self away from who you really are. And you start applying these false narratives and lies to your life. And then you put yourself under all of this pressure. And then you start scrolling and scrolling, and then hours go by when you should be asleep, and you staying up late. You're getting stressed out. Work sucks. Life sucks. And you wonder why things are falling apart, because you're not focused. You lost all of your discipline, or you never had any. You have no control, pretty much. And when you have no control over this, it's easy for information, television, social media, movies to influence you to believe a lot of the crap that's out there is real. So therefore you need to aim for it. And you wonder why you're failing. And it's easy for you to do because pretty much every other person you are around are talking about and doing the exact same thing. While true wealth, true happiness, true health, true wisdom is being gained in the total opposite direction by people you don't know, who are not on social media, who have books with knowledge telling you how to do the things that needs to be done in life in order to be successful, happy, healthy. It's just gone by the wayside. Yeah. So either way, I've talked a lot. I'm thinking I'm setting. No, I almost said something. Anywho, I'm gonna end this video. So like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you think. People. If you think anything at all. Also, let me know if you think that there's something on the horizon for next year as well, in 2026. Do you think that there will be a market, not say crash, but a reset, just like what we're noticing now, currently? Could this be a hint on what's to come? If there was $1.5 trillion lost in 2 days, if there's a major reset next year, what's happening? Because I will say also, for the last couple of years, I've been hearing and seeing these content creators talk about the great wealth transfer coming, or is here. All this money that's like trillions of dollars that's waiting to be invested or transferred is on the horizon. Will that start occurring next year? I don't know. But let me know what you think. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I pretending to be one. So any and all information on my channel is for entertainment purposes only, and it only expresses my opinion. So please consult with a financial advisor before you invest any of your hard-earned money. All right, so you guys take care. Have a blessed day. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and continue to learn and not let that old negative fear-based way of thinking creep in. Keep it out. Go for a walk. Do something that you normally don't do that is considered good for yourselves. All right, peace.